So we've been talking a lot about man and men. Well, I love men, but I love women too. So let's bring women into the equation. Here we have the band The Dish Rags from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, contemporaries of the Pointed Sticks. Jay Blade of The Dish Rags eventually married Bill Napier-Hemming of The Pointed Sticks. And what's interesting, again, they put this record out themselves. I love it. You know, like a few years ago, bands were like, I'm on a major label. No, I'm not on a major label. I don't want anybody to know I'm part of a major label. Now it's really actually hard to tell who's on a major label because people are afraid to say, oh, I'm on Universal, and they'll get bad-mouthed. You know, you've sold out. Well, what's hilarious about this is, here's the great punk band, Girls, from Victoria, BC. Let me just backtrack for a second here. The first punk gig that happened in Vancouver was in the summer of 1977, and the first punk band on stage was the Dish Rags. They didn't headline the gig, but they were the opening band. So they were the first punks on stage, and they were from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. It was headlined by a band called the Furies. They were related to Furies, and the Dish Rags got to open. So the Dish Rags are the first punks on stage in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So a couple years later, they put out a release. They really wanted to be on a record label, a big record label. So what did they write here? They wrote that they were on RCA Records. I love that. They put RCA on the record. Even though it wasn't released by RCA, they just put it on there. I love that. I love you, Girls. I love you, the Dish Rags. And you can pick up compilations of their music, one of other people's music that was released a few years ago in 1995. Then we're also got to talk about Victoria. I mean, Vancouver, you know, I've talked about Seattle, Portland, and all sorts of stuff. Victoria. I love this band, the Infamous Scientists, because they kind of help bring together and show the amazingness of Victoria rock. They have a song on here called All Your Ears Can Hear. It's actually about the radio station CKDA, but they couldn't say CKDA because they're afraid of getting sued. Interestingly, in this band is Andy Kerr, who would later go on to No Means No. We had Kevin Lee from the band Bum, and we also had John Wright, on this particular piece, Murray Jackson's playing drums, but John Wright of No Means No was playing in this band too, and is recorded by Rob Wright. In other words, this is kind of the early stages of No Means No. No Means No already had the Here Come the Wormies EP and stuff, but I just love these guys, kind of like the unheralded link between No Means No and No Means No as we know them. Now, I'm here trying to talk about the Infamous Scientists, but I can't really get the point across because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So why don't you pick up this book right here called All Your Ears Can Hear. It's by Jason Flower, and what is it about? Underground music in Victoria, BC, 1978 to 1984. And who's on the cover? But our good friends in the Infamous Scientists. So it has all this information about all the bands that were not recorded out of the Victoria scene. I'm talking all the bands recorded. There are tons of bands that did not record it, laid down amazing music. Now, if you want to learn about stuff that's kind of near Winnipeg, well, that is in Winnipeg, check out Personality Crisis, Warm Beer, and Wild Times. This is written by Chris Walter, who does punkbooks.com. He writes a whole bunch of punk fiction and stuff, although this time he tackled the band Personality Crisis from Winnipeg, home of the Guess Who, and their trials and tribulations. They signed a Better Youth organization out of Los Angeles. They moved to San Francisco in the 80s, lived there, tried to do the punk thing, didn't quite work out, moved back to Winnipeg, but still carried on and are revered today. And you can find all about Personality Crisis in this book. You're like, well, Personality Crisis, I'm really into Winnipeg. It doesn't matter. It's a road story. It's like the history of early 80s punk. It's like getting in Winnipeg, driving to Vancouver, driving to Los Angeles, driving to San Francisco, and they're so excited. They have these great stories to tell and stuff. And Personality Crisis is something that you may think, oh, nobody cares about. Fat Mike of NoFX, he loves these guys. He loves Stretch Marks as well. So Canadian rock, punk rock, Personality Crisis, Chris Walter. Check out all his fiction books and also this book especially.